Hello everyone. Hello. Guys, we are live now, and let's start with day 12. I hope we are waiting for next for more 5 minutes, and then we are going to start with today's lecture. Before that, if anyone have any doubt, they can ask in the comment section. Comment section is open for all. Any doubt, guys? Till now, if you have, you can ask. Both the mentors are over here only. You can ask your doubts. Okay. Guys, we are going to start in next 5 minutes, so have some patience. Okay. So I am adding Dibya Som in the chat in the stream.
Hello, guys. And guys, by the time you are actually bringing your doubts in the chat, also remind your friends and peers to join that the session is live and they can join ASAP.
Yes, guys, please remind them to join.
Okay, so let's start with the session. I hope everything is good now. Let's start. Dibya Som, you can start the session.
Okay. So let's guys, do you have any doubts till now in the question that we have solved in the this pattern that in this code that we had built in the last session? This was about multiple and multi-level inheritance combined together. So any doubts still here? And also, can you guys quickly ping in the chat if I'm audible clearly, because I'm not having my earphones today.
Yes, you are audible clearly. We are not facing any of the issues.
Okay. I haven't got attendance from yesterday's class. Okay, Vicky, that will be fixed ASAP. Don't worry about that. Focus on today's session. So, okay, cool. I guess this code was, clear to everyone. So, guys, basically, we let me just give you a quick, recap of what we had done last class, because this code was, pretty huge. I guess it was around more than 100 lines. So let me give you a quick overview of what had happened. Simple like inputs, namespace, and then we declared a base class primate ठीक है. We declared a base class primate, and this class had a public section where we declared a static function. Now I hope static function was clear to everyone. This makes sure that this function can be used without creating an object of the class. That is what static does. It allows you to invoke this function make primate even before making an object of class. And why did we need this method? Because we wanted to use factory builder method, because we wanted a custom function that returns a object of the class. And by this architecture, we could make our constructor private. So, we could use some random, not random, we could use some meaningful conditions, like the height should be at least some meaningful height, because this is primate and primate should be at least 1 meter. So we used our own meaningful conditionals, and only then we allow object creation. Now another utilization of this factory method will be, if you want to allow object creation only to certain clients who have paid for it. For example, Netflix does not allow everyone to use their structure, only the paid clients. So might be possible that there is some factory method which checks for if payment is done, then return a new object. So just like that, we made our own factory method which checks about the attributes and then allows object creation. After that, our code had some private attributes, a default constructor, parameterized constructor, and then we learned about friend class. Basically, we were using friend class because when we create object of caveman, which is actually a child of primate, then it needs an access to this constructor. It needs to access the constructor in order to create an object, right? Because it depends on it. It is a child. So first of all, it will create an object of primate, and only then it can work. Now it cannot directly access it because it is defined outside of class primate. It is a different class. So in order for it to actually be able to access this constructor, we declared it as a friend. Because when you declare any function or any class as friend, they can access all the primate and all the private and protected and whatsoever access specifiers are there. Friend can overrule all of them. Then basically we had a class caveman which had only one attribute. It is its constructor here, and just like that it had a function. Just let me quickly, yeah, sorry, it's a function here. And then I guess this function was also defined here. Yeah, so let me just quickly delete it from here. This was just a redundant piece of code. So next we had a second child of primate, class cave woman, and this cave woman again was also a child of primate. And guys, this is the final thing that we did. Up till here, it is simple inheritance. There is a class cave woman, and simply it's inheriting primate. Then we did multiple inheritance. Class human was inheriting both caveman and cave woman. Okay? It was inheriting both caveman and cave woman. And after that, it had a public attribute and of course constructor. And here we learned how a constructor, how a child constructor can call both the constructors of parents. So look here, this is quite interesting. Human constructor, now it's calling caveman as well as cave woman, and it is separated by a comma. So this is how you can call the multiple constructors of the parent class. So that is a quick recap of what we have done last class. Go with today's new topic. So guys, what we noticed yesterday, the problem was, let's say we had already seen the problem that this class human, it inherits both caveman and cave woman. And if I now want to print something, that belongs to the absolute parent class, for example, this class primate had some attributes like recipe and name. And I guess we had some getter and setter functions. So, let's quickly do something. What I want to do is, since this is private, I cannot directly print it from the child class, from the main function, right? In order to print it, I must have some getter and setter function. So first, let's see if we can print any attribute. If I want to print the name, so I should be able to do hum dot name and line, and you will quickly see that there's an error because it is ambiguous. And we learned that why this is ambiguous, right? We learned why this is ambiguous, and this is what is called the diamond problem. You can see there are first of all two problems. It is private, and other than that it is also ambiguous. So पहले problem को fix कर लेते हैं. Let's make sure it is no more, I mean it is still private. Let's declare a public function to access it. So what I'll do here is I'll say a string, because this name is a string kind of thing. You can see string name. So I want to declare public function which can return the string for me. So I'll say get name and no parameters, and this will just return this name. And this function is totally legit, because this is first of all declared in the public section, and since it is defined inside the class, it can of course access this name attribute. So we learned about this kind of approach is called a getter function. As simple as that, a getter function. And since it is public, it can be accessed from name. So now I don't have to directly use hum.name. I will say hum dot get name. Now let's see if it works. So you'll see now the private error, that error that the content is inaccessible or private is gone. Now the problem is it is ambiguous. And we know why it is ambiguous, because if I just uncomment this, if I just comment out this code, let me show you what's the reason for its being ambiguous. See, here's the problem. What's happening now is when I create an object of class human, and class human, it inherits both caveman and cavewoman. So now the problem is cavewoman is also dependent on primate, and caveman is also dependent on primate. So this is what is happening. There is an absolute class primate. It has two child, caveman and cavewoman, and then the class human, it inherits both of these classes. So the problem is when human calls caveman, it then caveman here calls primate. After that, class human calls cavewoman, and then cavewoman calls primate again. So you can quickly look that here. First of all, primate constructor called, then caveman constructor called, then again primate constructor is called, and then cavewoman constructor is called. So everything is called once, and that is fine. That is how it should be. But primate constructor, guys, do two times call over here, right? And that is a problem, because if primate constructor is being called two times, then everything in class primate, all of this stuff, static primate, who am I, get name, these things, all the attributes, they are copied two times. And let me quickly show you a diagram of what's happening right now. What is this diamond problem all about? So here's a visual, here's a visualization. Basically, this is happening in the backend. When this is our class human, it is a small happy face. It depends on two classes, caveman and cavewoman. Now, caveman is dependent on primate, and cavewoman is dependent on primate as well. So this is, guys, this is what is happening right now. Two copies of primate are formed. One which is serving caveman, and one it is serving cavewoman. So that is causing ambiguity, and ambiguity means basically confusion. So C++ compiler is now confused when you call a function that is actually defined in this function, this get name, this function which is actually defined in primate. Now that is confusing our C++ compiler, because if I now try to print get name, you will see that it will say that get name function is ambiguous, and this is the reason, because it is being copied two times. So how to solve this? And this is actually what is called the classic diamond problem of C++. So to solve this, there is a method. This is what we want, right? हम चाहते हैं कि primate सिर्फ एक बार create हो, and then both caveman and cavewoman should share it, because finally that is going to solve our problem. Only one copy of our data, and both of those data should be shared by caveman and cavewoman, and then this happy human can inherit both of them. And now there will be no ambiguity, because सिर्फ एक copy create करनी है. So this is the problem. Right now there are two copies, and this is our goal. So how to do this? Now to do that, we have to learn something new. It's called virtual. So what we'll do is, while we inherit while we inherit primate for the class caveman, we will declare it virtual. Now, when you declare it virtual, basically it has some now extra set of rules, and in all, you can assume that when caveman and cavewoman, both of them they have to be explicitly set as virtual before inheriting. Now, what happens is it tells that this is just a virtual base class. This class object is not directly going to be used. This is just a virtual idea. Just use it as a set of attributes. Those attributes are not going to have any values. बस इसको as a template use करो. Just use it as a basic structure of how the class should be, and then implement those structures or those ideas as in these attributes should be accessible from caveman. And this is how you do it. When I declare it virtual, now let me quickly run this code, and you can see everything works fine except there are some problems. So now I am getting no errors. Tarzan, Mead, and when I call the getName function, it works fine. Abhi koi error nahi aa rahi. And you can also see here, primate constructor is only called once. Oh, Gaurav sir is also in the chat. Okay, hello sir. And primate constructor is now called. So you can see primate constructor is called only once, and our goal is resolved. This is what we wanted. This infrastructure is now created. Where is it? Yeah, there is only now one copy of primate, and both caveman and cavewoman are using it. So that solves our first problem. But now there is a next problem. This cout get name is not doing anything. You can see it did not print anything here. So let's see what's the reason for that. Okay, so the basic reason that this has happened is when you declare something virtual, उसके अंदर एक implementation आ जाती है कि वो खुद कुछ data hold नहीं कर सकता. It can only hold what are the different attributes, but it cannot hold the value of those attributes. That is going to be a problem. Now what do we do? Basically, when we inherit a virtual class, उसके पास ये सारी slots आ जाएंगे. It will get a slot whose name will be height. It will get a variable whose get name will be this name variable and a recipe. But it cannot hold any value. So that is going to be a problem. And how to solve it? So first of all, what we'll do is we will declare this function string get name, or whatever function you want to define in your virtual class, you have to define it as a virtual function. So what is a virtual function is it does not do anything. It is just a basic implementation. You can also leave it blank, but to show that it is doing something, I'll just write a simple message. I am a basic implementation from parent class primate. And what this does in the backend, this tells the compiler that this class primate, it has a function and it is virtual. It virtual means iska definition hum ek proper definition provide nahi karenge. We will just provide some random definition which has no sense. And the classes which inherit me, for example, caveman inherits primate. It will provide you a proper definition of the function which we have declared virtual. And guys, this thing is also known as runtime polymorphism. So let's quickly see what happens now when we call it. No return statement. Okay, sorry about that. Void who am I? Virtual string. It should be void. And also let's declare this virtual. So we have now two virtual functions, who am I and get name. And cout hum dot get name. So now let's just call hum dot get who am I. So now let's see what happens. This who am I is a virtual function defined in the parent class. And if I run the code now, you can see that it's printing out. Okay, let now for more clarity, let me call both the functions get name. Okay. So let me show you something. You will find it very weird that first of all, this line is working. I am a basic implementation from parent class. So that is from this get name function. And if you notice the who am I function, what does who am I function do? Who am I function basically prints the name and the height, right? If we see in the definition. This is what who am I should logically do theoretically. It prints this name and this height, that is name and height of this particular object. So name and height तो हमने define करी है. We have defined Tarzan and we have given it a height of 2. Then why is it not printing anything? It is only printing the constant part. It is not printing the values of the objects. And you can see here's a random value, a garbage value which we have not assigned. The reason is कि ये defined है, in the parent class, this class which is primate, and it cannot hold values because you have inherited it as a virtual function. तो दिक्कत ये कि ये एक वर्चुअल फंक्शन है, ये एग्जिस्ट नहीं कर रहा. दिस इज जस्ट अ सेट ऑफ आइडियाज, एंड व्हेन वी ट्राई टू प्रिंट अ वैल्यू इनसाइड इट, इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन बिकॉज दिस कैन ओनली टेल द कंपाइलर कि या आई एम अ क्लास, मेरे पास एक वेरिएबल है, इस वेरिएबल का नाम नेम है, इस वेरिएबल का नाम हाइट है, बट इट कैन नॉट होल्ड इट्स वैल्यू एंड हेंस इट प्रिंट्स a garbage value. यहाँ पे it is printing a space, यहाँ पे it is not printing anything. So how to fix that? It's really easy. हम क्या करेंगे? And this is how you, this is the approach to do it. When you declare a function virtual, of course it is not going to do anything. So let's remove this. इसको यहाँ पे define करने का भी कोई मतलब है नहीं. You can just leave it blank. You can say definition will be provided by derived class. So this is how virtual functions work. You just declare them in the parent class and you define it in the derived class. So let's define it. Let's go to the class that inherits it, caveman. Since caveman is inheriting it, it is the duty or the responsibility of class caveman to provide a proper definition to the virtual function. So let's define that. And this technique is called runtime polymorphism. So we have till now we have studied about polymorphism. So guys, can you quickly tell me in the chat what is polymorphism? And after that, I'll tell you what is runtime polymorphism. Guys, quickly ping in the chat. We have discussed what is polymorphism. I'll give you a hint. Polymorphism मतलब basically overloading होता है. Many forms, exactly. So we know that when there is polymorphism, basically हम किसी भी function को overload कर सकते हैं. One function will be having different definitions. Exactly, both of you are correct, Kuldeep and Mansi. So what is runtime polymorphism? Basically, जब आप किसी भी function को virtual define करते हो, it is not, during compilation, the C++ compiler assumes that this function has no definition right now. या फिर जो भी constant definition होता है, it works, but it cannot print any value. And since you have declared it virtual, then during the runtime, it is, I'm not talking about compilation. मैं इस phase की बात नहीं कर रहा. The first one, when it is compiled, C++ is going to have no idea which function is to be called. जब आप, उस particular function को call करोगे, who am I? It does not know what to do. But what runtime polymorphism does is, once you have declared a function virtual, ये आराम से कंपाइलेशन फेज पार कर लेगा, कोई एरर नहीं आएगी. एंड आफ्टर कंपाइलेशन इज डन, during the runtime, when you actually execute the code, execution means when you say ./ the name of the code, during that time it will dynamically link to the that particular function. अभी क्या करेगा, although this function was declared in the parent, ये function भी parent function, this GetName, ये parent class में declared है, but when we are going to call GetName, it will no longer write this definition. It will first check in the derived classes कि अगर कोई proper definition available है, ये उसको use करेगा और इन definitions को नहीं follow करेगा. So now let's quickly verify that. मैं यहाँ पे भी एक same line लिख देता हूँ, ठीक है? What I'll do here is I'll write both of these are the virtual functions. So when I call any one of these, it should print I am a basic implementation from parent class. अभी तक इसको verify कर लेते हैं, ठीक है? And you can see both of these print the same thing. Now let's use some runtime polymorphism. So basically यहाँ पे I have already given a comment, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the exact same function prototype or the function signature. So I have to use this name to overload it, and what I'll say is void get name, and now here I'll say cout, sorry about that, cout I am overloaded by child class. So now let's see if that works. So guys, what I'm going to do now is, this is the same function getName, which was also present in the parent class getName, and it was virtual. And here I have not mentioned virtual, so it tells the compiler that this is a proper definition. So can you quickly tell me, if I now use getName, which definition will be printed? Whether it will say I am overloaded by child class, or it will tell me I am a basic implementation from parent class. Can you quickly ping in the chat? Overriding. Manshi, you can function overloading is one type of polymorphism. Exactly. There C++ supports multiple different types of polymorphism, and also there is operator overloading, as Kshitij sir has taught you. Same data type, many forms. Okay, parent. Okay, someone is saying it will print parent, and let's see. I am overloaded by child class. So this was called second get name. You can see now it is not printing the definition provided by parent, but it is printing the one which is provided by child. And this is runtime polymorphism. During runtime, while the code was running, C++ saw or noticed that एक proper definition available है, because इससे पहले virtual keyword use नहीं हुई. So this is a proper definition, and that is why it used this. And since now we know what is runtime polymorphism, इन चीजों को भी fix कर देते हैं, ठीक है? Now we know that the primate constructor, the primate object cannot hold any values because it is virtual. So instead of assigning the values in the parent, you will want to assign that in the child. So whatever attributes that belongs to the parent, you can use them. But to assign any values, उसको use करना in the child class. I repeat, अगर आपके पास कोई भी वैल्यू है, एनी एट्रीब्यूट जो कि पेरेंट क्लास में डिफाइंड है, इफ यू वांट टू असाइन एनी वैल्यू टू इट, you have to do that in the child class, because you are inheriting the parent as a virtual. तो आप since it is virtual, it does not exist, it is just a set of ideas. उसके पास सिर्फ attributes की names हैं, उसकी values hold नहीं कर सकती. So the reason is it is virtual. I cannot emphasize more on this. This is very important. Since it is virtual, you have to assign the values in the child class. Now I have defined the values in the child class, and जब हमने parent class में values assign करी थी, we remember it did not print anything. It printed garbage value. Now what I'm going to do is I'll also overload the whoami function. So I'll overload the whoami function and I'll change its definition. Now I'll say fear me. Sorry, I'll say I am, and I'll print the name this, let's say name, and I'll say because I'm a अभी height भी print कर देते हैं. Let's print out some other attributes as well, and I eat, I'll say recipe, जो भी recipe में जो भी value है, just print that out. And now let's quickly verify if these values are now printed. Previously we remember name की जगह white space print हो रही थी, height की जगह we got a random value. Now let's quickly verify if the values are being printed. So now you can see, now we print the proper values. Sorry about the space thing, I missed a white space, my bad. So now we can quickly verify that now it is over. Now since the function is overloaded, you can see that the whoami function is now overloaded. In the parent class, it should have printed I am a basic implementation, but now it prints the proper definition provided by the child class, and it also is able to print the values. I am Tarzan because I don't know why I wrote this, and I eat meat. So that's that. And very quickly, let me show you another use of objects. Just like that, you can define lots. For example, hum1, sorry about that, hum1, hum1 and hum1, and here I'll say King Kong. And this should be banana and 337. Cool. So guys, that is how so that is all about multiple and multi-level inheritance. You can see this is multi-level. Primate is a child of all this, parent of all this, and then human is again a child of caveman, which is a child of primate, and it is also multi-level, sorry, multiple, because you can see human is inheriting both of these. And this is how you create multiple objects. And see, both of those are now holding different values, 337. And this also proves, now brings us to the end of inheritance. We have discussed everything. Compile time polymorphism, that is the normal one. Then there is runtime polymorphism, which we just did. And we can also see that the data is secure because this object hum can only access its own data, and this hum1 can only access its own data. There is no way that hum1 can look into hum's data. So we can also control data flow that explains data, encapsulation and abstraction. And with this, we come to an end of inheritance. So if there is any doubt, ping in the chat, or now we can proceed with exception handling. I am overloaded from child class, basic implementation, both. Okay, I didn't get the context in which you're asking about. Function overloading is one type of polymorphism. Yeah, that is correct. Is it like overriding? Mansi, overriding is a bit different concept. This technique is also actually called overloading, but yeah, you can also call it overriding because we are, changing the definition of a parent function, like a function's parent definition. So you can also call it kind of overriding or runtime polymorphism. So if there are any doubts, quickly ping in the chat, or this is an end of inheritance, like complete advanced level of inheritance. We have discussed all the concepts and all the 5 basic key principles of object-oriented programming. That was this. We have discussed classes and objects. We discussed data abstraction and encapsulation. We discussed inheritance. That is completed today, and we also discussed all the different types of polymorphism.
Okay, guys, there is a one link in your chat. Please check the link and fill the form as soon as possible. After 5 to 10 minutes, I will close this form. Till then, if anyone have any question, they can ask, and we will going to start with exception handling. In next 5 minutes. So please fill the form. Till then, I request Divya to take all the doubts. And guys, we have same form at the end of the session just to see some of the glitches. Okay.
So guys, is there any doubt till here? I know the code was a bit confusing. Or
Guys,
any
if you
doubt?
have any of the doubts, please feel free to ask them, or else we are starting with the next topic for today, that is exception handling, which was covered a bit in the previous sessions and is going to complete in today's session. Also, if you have any of the doubts regarding exception handling regarding our previous session, so feel free to ask your doubts regarding exception handling as well.
Diamond problem shows hybrid inheritance. Yeah, Mansi,
Yes, diamond problem is fine. Some you can continue.
Yeah, Mansi, this diamond problem is itself, one of the classic example of hybrid inheritance. So let me quickly show you the diagram for that again, and let me explain with that. Uh, Okay, so this is hybrid inheritance. As you can see, this caveman is a parent of human and primate is a parent of caveman. So first thing that you can see clearly is primate is parent of caveman, and caveman is parent of human. So this shows multi-level inheritance. This is level 0, level 1, level 2. Similarly from here, level 0, 1 and 2. Now this is also an example of multiple inheritance. As you can see, human depends on both cave woman and caveman. And since both of these inheritances are being done together, this is a classic example of, hybrid inheritance. And as you can see in the next picture, this actually looks like a diamond when we solve the problem. One copy of the parent class together, serving both cave man and cave woman, being shared by both the classes, and then human utilizing both of them together. I mean, inheriting both of them together. And this structure looks like a diamond, and that is the reason it is called diamond problem. And this is hybrid inheritance. You can clearly see this is multi-level here. This is level 0, level 1, and this is level 2. And you can also see that this human is depending on both of them. So multi-level plus multiple is equal to hybrid. So I guess that answers your question. Can you give me a quick confirmation? What is the advantage of using virtual? Yeah, Samir, that solves this ambiguity problem. For example, let me just quickly remove virtual from the definition here, and instantly you can see that who am I becomes ambiguous. You can see in the doubt, you can see in the, I mean, sorry about the slip of tongue. You can now clearly see in the error that is VS Code generating that who am I function defined in, the class human is ambiguous, because right now it is now going to receive two copies of who am I, since who am I is defined in, sorry about that, since who am I is defined in the parent class. तो अगर हम virtual नहीं बताते हैं, then it will get two copies of the same function, and that is why when we use virtual, it basically tells कि इसको space allocate मत करो, this just take it as a set of virtual ideas and then just use that structure. So now you can see the error is gone and it is no longer ambiguous. So that is the use of virtual. So I guess that answers your question, Samir.
I think there are no doubts further.
Yeah,
So
sure.
let us start with the further topic of exception handling. Let me present my screen and start exception handling as of now. So guys, this was the code जो हमने पहले किया था exception handling का. So this was something basic और अभी आगे बहुत सारी advanced चीजें भी आ रही हैं थोड़ी सी. तो अभी हमने ये क्या किया था? We have created a function here, and in the function we are using exception handling. तो अभी फंक्शन में जो भी एक्सेप्शन हैंडलिंग था, इज दैट क्लियर टू एवरीवन? अगर किसी को समझ में नहीं आया इसमें या कोई भी डाउट हो, इफ यू वांट मी टू रिवाइज इट अगेन, यू कैन प्लीज फील फ्री टू आस्क इन द चैट सेक्शन. तो फिर उसके अकॉर्डिंग ही हम करवाते हैं आगे. So guys, any of the doubts regarding exception handling? आई थिंक कोई डाउट नहीं है, पर मैं लेट मी गिव अ लिटिल ओवरव्यू. तो अभी क्या किया था हमने? वी हैव आस्क्ड द यूजर फॉर टू वैल्यूज, और टू वैल्यूज में हमने क्या किया? वी हैव ट्राइड द फंक्शन एंड वी हैव कैच द एक्सेप्शन. बट अब हम देखते हैं वी कैन, ये तो मैंने पूरा का पूरा काम फंक्शन पे कर दिया. वट इफ कि मेरे को ये पूरा का पूरा काम कोड में ही करना है. आई नीड नॉट टू कॉल द फंक्शन. ये थ्रो भी फंक्शन ही कर रहा है. Everything is being done by the function, but there might be some of the functionalities for which you do not want to create a function and you want to code it directly in your thing. तो हम क्या करते हैं? हम इसको देखते हैं अगर हम डायरेक्टली कोड करते हैं तो what difference it will make, और उसके अंदर कैसे होगा ये. ठीक है, अब we have created a new file exception.cpp. Is the font clear to everyone? Is the screen size okay? Devisam, can you confirm is the screen size visible and is the font clear, or shall I zoom in?
Yeah, the font is clear to me.
Okay. तो अभी हम क्या कर रहे हैं? हैशटैग डॉट आईओ स्क्रीन हमने कर दिया. Okay, I am zooming in. Guys, जो ये मेरे में एरर है, इट इज ड्यू टू सम ऑफ द कॉन्फ़िगरेशन एरर, सो डू नॉट वरी अबाउट इट. ये मैं कुछ इधर उधर कर रहा था, सो द एरर इज कमिंग, बट आई विल गेट इट रिजॉल्व. तो अब हमने क्या किया? हमने डिवीजन वाला लॉजिक किया. हम सिर्फ मेन में देखते हैं. वी हैव स्टडीड इट अबाउट द फंक्शन ऑलरेडी. तो अब हमने क्या किया? हमने फिर से ले लिया n1 and n2 and we have asked the user to input n1 and n2. अब मैंने यूजर को बोल दिया एंटर फ्यू ऑफ द वैल्यूज. नाउ आई एम ट्राइंग अ ब्लॉक. अब मेरे को क्या देखना होता है कि n1 by n2 मेरा ठीक हो. तो n1 by n2 मेरा तभी ठीक होगा जब मेरा n2 0 नहीं होगा. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई विल चेक इफ n2 इज इक्वल टू 0. ठीक है, इफ n2 इज इक्वल टू 0 तो हम क्या करेंगे? आई विल थ्रो समथिंग. अब चलो एक स्ट्रिंग थ्रो करते हैं. डिवीजन बाय 0 एरर. अभी तक हमने इंट थ्रो किया था, तो तो आज थोड़ा स्ट्रिंग थ्रो करके देखते हैं हम कि स्ट्रिंग से क्या होगा। ठीक है, डिवीजन बाय 0 एरर आ गया। ओके, तो अब हमारा ये एक्सेप्शन आ गई और हमने क्या किया, अगर हमारी ये नहीं आती है देन व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, सी आउट, आई एम जस्ट प्रिंटिंग, let me print n1 by n2 and return this noise. Okay, I am printing this. अब मैंने कैच स्टेटमेंट बनाया। अब मेरे को कैच में क्या करना पड़ेगा, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लास्ट टाइम हमने वी प्रोवाइडेड इंट डाटा टाइप है, बट दिस टाइम व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, वी हैव टू कैच स्ट्रिंग टाइप एक्सेप्शन। अब हमको स्ट्रिंग टाइप का कैच करना है, सो व्हाट वी हैव टू प्रोवाइड, वी हैव टू प्रोवाइड a string data type and str is the string which I am accepting, and I am directly printing str. Now let us see कि अभी ये क्या होता है, हमें क्या करना है। ठीक है, अब हमने कैच करके स्ट्रिंग को प्रिंट कर दिया और यहाँ पे हम डाल देते हैं सी आउट बाय। बाय तो हमारा हर टाइम एग्जीक्यूट होना ही चाहिए, अदर वेट एनीथिंग। लेट मी रन इट, एंड अब ये मेरे से दो नंबर्स पूछ रहे हैं, आई एम एंटरिंग 10 and 5, so it is giving me 2 and by, but somehow if I write 10 and 0, it is giving me terminate code after. Okay. I think the string was not defined yet. Let me include bit/std. Compiling. Okay, I think there is a problem with the thing, तो इसको float ही कर देता हूँ, मुझे पता नहीं इसमें क्या दिक्कत आ रही है। F1 and I am printing F1 here. So let me return some of the float type variable. तो इसी string भी हम कर सकते हैं, string में भी कोई problem नहीं आती है, we can also do it with string. So 10.2f, अब 10.2f क्यों लिखा, बिकॉज जब मैं 10.2 लिखता हूँ इट ऑटोमेटिकली चेंजेस टू डबल टाइप। अभी मैं इसको देखूंगा तो इट इज डबल, इट इज द डबल डाटा टाइप, बट व्हेन आई राइट f, so it automatically typecast it to float data types। ठीक है, तो ये float data type में automatically typecast कर देता है if we are using f here। तो अब हम यहाँ पे थोड़ा सी आउट का भी मैसेज चेंज करा देते हैं, error number f1 has occurred। Let's compile it and let us see the output। तो इसने बोल दिया एरर नंबर 10.2 हैज अकर्ड। तो अब मेरे आई नीड नॉट टू स्पेसिफाई अ सिंगल टाइप, बट अभी तो मैंने ये एरर भेजा। सपोज अब मेरे को एक और चीज करनी है, आई हैव टू चेक इफ n1 by n2 if it is greater than 5 then it is okay for me, but if it is less than 5 मुझे एक एरर जनरेट करना है। ठीक है, तो अब मुझे एक एरर जनरेट और करना था, तो अब मैंने क्या किया, इसको पहले रिजल्ट में स्टोर कर दिया, एंड s result is equal to n1 by n2। सो अभी क्या हो रहा है, मैंने इसको रिजल्ट में स्टोर कर दिया एंड आई एम चेकिंग इट अगेन, इफ n if result is greater than equal to 5, if less than equal to, sorry, if it is less than equal to 5, तो हम क्या करेंगे, I will throw 10.2f। चलो मैं कुछ और चेंज कर देता हूँ, 11f। ठीक है, अब मैंने ये किया और मैंने थ्रो कर दिया 11f। सो लेट अस सी की व्हाट विल बी द डिफरेंस है। Okay, 11.0. I have to specify if it is a float type. I have to use the point. Now let me run it. And I am providing 10 and 0. First let us see. तो error occur हो गया, जैसे ही मैंने 10 0 प्रोवाइड किया, so error has occurred. But when I am providing 10 and 5, तो error occur नहीं हो रहा है. It is something that is not expecting. तो अब मुझे किसी दूसरे तरह का मैकेनिज्म चाहिए. I don't want the same type of mechanism. I want some of the different mechanism here. और मेरे को उस मैकेनिज्म के अकॉर्डिंग एक्शन लेना है. So अब इसके लिए हम क्या कर सकते हैं? So what to do? तो अब हम क्या करेंगे, हम इसको क्या करेंगे, we will return some of the different data type। जैसे मैंने क्या कर दिया, 11 रिटर्न कर दिया। So 11 is an integral data type। अगर मैं 11 को देखूं, so 11 is an integer data type। और मैं एक और कैच लगा सकता हूँ, I am putting another catch which is catching the integer type value, and now see out your result is less than 10, try again, less than 5, less than 5, please try again। तो अब मैं जब करूंगा, सो फ्लोट टाइप के जो हमारे एरर्स आएंगे, फ्लोट टाइप के एरर्स ये कैच करेगा, इंट टाइप के एरर्स ये कैच करेगा। तो देयर विल बी डिफरेंट थिंग फॉर डिफरेंट ऑफ द डाटा टाइप्स। और सिर्फ डाटा टाइप नहीं, आई कैन ऑल्सो रिटर्न ए क्लास, यू कैन क्रिएट ए क्लास एंड यू कैन रिटर्न इट एज वेल। और इस चीज के लिए आई वुड लाइक टू सजेस्ट यू टू ट्राई इट। अगर आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम आती है, देन वी विल कवर इट इन टुमारो सेशन एज वेल, कि अगर क्लास रिटर्न नहीं हो पा रही है, हाउ टू रिटर्न क्लास फ्रॉम द exception handling. This is a homework for you, so this is a kind of assignment, so you should try to do it। और अभी हम इसको रन करके देखते हैं। और इतने किसी को डाउट हो, इफ समवन इज फेसिंग एनी ऑफ द डाउट्स टिल नाउ, तो वो भी पूछ सकते हैं। अभी जैसे मैंने प्रोवाइड किया 10 and 5, so it is giving me different type of exception here that your result is less than 5 and try again। अब क्या होता है कि some of the exceptions that are not known to me, I have to return something else। अब मेरे को सारी की सारी exception कैच करनी है। Suppose this is only for float, this is only for int, but there is some exception of double type। So how will I catch it? So I can use catch, and in the brackets I can use triple dot। So what this triple dot will do, it will catch all of the type of exception। Suppose I am removing this, and I am here writing here, see out catching all the exceptions। देखते हैं कि कैचिंग ऑल द एक्सेप्शंस कॉल होता है कि नहीं, जब हम फ्लोट एरर देते हैं या फिर हम इंटीजर टाइप देते हैं. सो लेट अस सी इट इन एक्शन. तो अब इसको हमने रन किया. आई एम प्रोवाइडिंग 10 and 0. So it is catching all the exceptions. But even if I am providing 10 and 5, so it is also catching all the exceptions. So if we want to create a single scenario which will catch all the type of exceptions, so it is like a generalized case, and these were the specialized case. So if we want to use a specialized case, we can use a specialized case as well. And if we are into generalized case, we can use generalized case as well, but it will catch all the exception and will not make our code as much different for different kind of exceptions. तो हमको हमेशा कैच ट्रिपल डॉट लास्ट में करना चाहिए. अब एक और चीज कि मैंने ये सारे डिफाइन कर दिए, तो अब क्या होगा. अब एक बार इसको भी रन करके देखते हैं. अब जैसे ही मैंने इसको रन किया एंड आई एम प्रोवाइडिंग 10 and 0, तो ये एरर 10.2 हैज अकर्ड, ये यहीं पे जाके रुक जा रहा है. इट इज नॉट गोइंग एनी फर्दर. ठीक है. एंड व्हेन आई एम प्रोवाइडिंग समथिंग डिफरेंट लाइक 10 and 5, तो इसने ये चेक किया ये वाला तो मैच होता नहीं था, पर ये यहीं पे आके रुक गया है. बट व्हाट इफ अगर मैंने इस चीज को यहाँ से उठा के और मैंने एक्सेप्शन को सबसे पहले ही कैच कर लिया, तो अब क्या होगा. कैन वी यूज ट्राई एंड कैच बोथ इन अनदर फंक्शन देन कॉल द मेन फंक्शन. Why do you want to call the main function in another function? Main function will start the execution of the whole program again, but we can use the try and catch in another block and then call the main function as well. Main is just a function, so you can call it anywhere. So calling the main function is not an issue, you can call it anywhere somewhere. तो अब हमने ऐसे वो किया. Yes, मानसी, catching all the exception will be printed. अब ये कैचिंग ऑल द एक्सेप्शन क्यों प्रिंट हो रहा है. क्योंकि इसने शुरू में आया एंड इट हैज कंपेयर्ड इट विद दिस. तो हमको अपनी जनरलाइज चीजें, जैसे हम अपना डिफॉल्ट केस हम हमेशा बाद में लिखते थे, और डिफॉल्ट केस, तो इसीलिए हम अपनी जो चीजें होंगी एक लास्ट में लिखेंगे कैच की, कि जब हमारी जो जनरलाइज्ड केस होगा वी विल use it at the end after defining our specialized case, क्योंकि हमारे specialized case पहले से ही कॉल हो जाते हैं. Okay, so this was something about exception handling, and you have a homework to find how to use classes and how to pass them as an exception. मतलब जैसे हमने ये float पास किया, तो हम यहाँ पे class name डाल के अपनी class भी पास कर सकते हैं as an exception. और हम class क्यों पास करते हैं, what is the advantage of using class over using float data type or over using int data type. जब data type से हमारा काम हो रहा है, then why we are using classes for exception handling? What is the advantage of using classes in exception handling and how to do it? So this is a kind of assignment. I will share a form in your respective WhatsApp group where you will get the assignment, and the attendance link is already shared today. Attendance and assignment are two different kind of things. Assignment will also contribute in your certifications, so we will decide who has done the best and who is not doing that great, and we will get the excellent certificate based on those only. So you should try and do the assignments as well. Further, let us take a question about C++, and Divisom, I would like to invite you for a further question. Till then, till Divisom comes, feel free to ask your queries in the chat section, and feel free to ask any of the doubt that you have.
Hello.
Yes, Divisom, you are audible.
Since I have not, basically we have done the questions of all the concepts that we have covered till now. So I was
Okay,
thinking,
okay.
what question to practice today, or should we start with a new topic?
Let us ask the audience if they have any question regarding C, C++, and if they are facing any errors, and then start the question.
Okay, that's cool.
So guys, if you are facing problem in any of the questions
Yeah.
that was
So
practiced till
Mansi
now?
is asking, is there anything such as finally in C++? Mansi, there is nothing like finally, but there is a keyword equivalent to finally. You can use const, const. So when you declare,
You can use const keyword.
Uh,
yeah,
I think Kshitij, what we can do for now, what we can do for now today, I we can have some questions from assignment if students want to,
Actually,
want
all
any
the assignment
solution.
questions are already discussed, and their solution is given to the students already.
Okay, so no problem. I think so. And can we bind up this session for today? I think all the concepts had been covered. If
Yes,
any
all the
concept.
concepts have been covered, and we have a ample amount of time. So, if in audience you have any of the doubts, you can ask the doubts, and we can make it an interactive Q&A session as
Okay,
well. If you are
okay.
facing,
Let me do one thing, Kshitij. Do one thing. I got the request from audience that they have doubt, but they are not able to, write the doubt. So what we can do now, we can end up with this session, and I will share a Google Meet over here only, and in
yes,
next
yes,
half an hour, we will, discuss all the doubts. Then the students, those who have any problem regarding any concept till now, they can, ask, and we can help them out. Okay,
yes, we can
so
help them out in that way.
are you ready for the Google Meet, or are you in for the Google Meet or not? Okay,
Yes,
if
please
you
write
are,
in the comment section if you are in for the Google Meet. Please write in
okay,
or out. Those who cannot join, please write out, and those who are
because
interested in joining, please write in.
because all the concepts of till today we have covered. If you have any doubt till now, you can ask. Okay,
Can we ask
so
other doubts as well? Yes, Mansi, you can ask some of the other doubts if they are relevant, and if we have complete knowledge about them, we will surely help you with that as well.
mhm.
yeah,
Okay, so
regarding to C++ or anything that you have doubt, or there is our upcoming series AWS. If you have any doubts regarding that, anything, any domain,
I have shared the Google Meet link, guys. है ना? You can join if you have any doubt. If anyone have any doubt, if not, so it is not compulsory. I will accept the meet in next 5 minutes. So till then, okay. So let's end up with this session. Wind up with this session here. Okay. Thank you for the lovely session, guys.